Disclaimer: this video is an imagination written by author's perspective. It has nothing to do with real life. It's only for entertainment purpose. I own the storyline and narration, so please don't copy and repost my work. Jungkook, finally she showed her real face, that she's my stepmom. Teary eyes. You became shocked after hearing that Mrs. Sean is not his real mother and she is his stepmom. You are shocked because he never told you this and no one told you about this. Before you can ask him about this, you became unconscious in Jungkook's arms and he became scared. Jungkook, Ryan, what happened? Jungkook, don't close your eyes. We are just going to hospital, he said while tapping your cheeks, but you didn't open your eyes. He became more scared because your whole body is cold and you are not responding. So he immediately picked you in his arms and went towards his car. He made you sit in the car and then he started driving fast. He have to go fast to hospital because your condition is not good and you are already so weak. He is so angry on Mrs. John and he's also angry with you because you never told him about this all before. If Mrs. John was treating you this bad, then why didn't you told him? Jungkook, you are so weak, Ryan. If you don't want to tell me about this, then it's okay. Because maybe you thought that you don't want to be reason of our fight and argument. But Jungkook, but at least you should take stand for yourself and your unborn child. How can you tolerate someone's torture in this condition? He was talking to unconscious Ryan. Jungkook, I am very disappointed with you. I never thought that you are so weak who didn't fight for herself and your baby. Jungkook said, and tears are flowing from his eyes. After 10 minutes, he reached the hospital and he picked you in his arms carefully. And then he went towards hospital building and entered inside the hospital. He entered inside the hospital with you in his arms and started shouting for help, and staff come towards him while running and became shocked when they saw Mafia Jeon Jungkook. Actually, you visit this hospital every month from last 3 months because of your pregnancy. That's why doctors know you. So your doctor who was checking you asked Jungkook, Doctor, Mr. John, what happened to your wife? He asked worriedly, and Jungkook is only crying. Jungkook, I don't know, doctor, what happened to her, but I found her in this condition on the road. Teary eyes. Then doctor see mud on your dress and nodded. Doctor, nurse, immediately take her to emergency ward. Then they immediately take you to emergency room. Doctor, don't worry, Mr. John, everything be alright, okay? He said and tried to give him some hopes, but Jungkook is still crying. Doctor, but you should take extra care of your wife and this time because I already warned her that her baby is so weak. So take care of yourself and take proper meals and rest. Jungkook eyes widened after hearing this because you didn't told him about this and he was unaware about this. Jungkook, but she didn't told me about this. Doctor, I don't know why didn't she told you this, but I clearly warned her and she said that she'll take care of herself. After saying this, doctor left from there. Doctor started your treatment and right now you are in emergency ward and Jungkook is waiting outside and praying for your and his baby's safety. He is feeling so scared. Just then he decided to call Mrs. Sean and ask her about this. So he called her immediately, but she didn't pick the call, so he again called her. Meanwhile, Mrs. Jeon was sleeping peacefully in her room and her cell phone was ringing, but she didn't woke up. But then again it started ringing, so Mrs. Jeon opened her eyes. She saw the caller ID and it's Jungkook's call, so she immediately picked the call. OTP, Mrs. Jeon. Hello, son. OTP, Jungkook. Where is Van, mom? He directly asked about you, and Mrs. Jeon became shocked and scared. She gulped her saliva because of nervousness. OTP, Mrs. Jeon. She is sleeping in her room, she said while shuddering. OTP, Mrs. Jeon. Why? What happened? Before she can complete her sentence, Jungkook cut her off by shouting on her. OTP, Jungkook, stop lying, mom. She became scared after hearing him. She can clearly hear his crying sound. OTP, Mrs. Jeon. What happened, son? Why are you crying? Are you okay? Her eyes also became teary after hearing him. OTP, Jungkook. Right now I am in hospital. Mrs. Jeon became shocked. Mrs. Jeon, what happened to you, my son? Worried. OTP, Jungkook. Nothing happened to me. Van is the one who is admitted here. Right now she is in emergency ward and her treatment is going on. Now Mrs. Jeon became more scared because she kicked you out and now you are in hospital. Then Jungkook told her that how he found you on the road in this condition. OTP, Jungkook, come to XYZ hospital as soon as possible. Mrs. Jeon, okay, I'm coming. Then he hung up the call. Now Mrs. Jeon is praying for your and baby's safety because she know that if something bad happened to you, then Jungkook will give her worst punishment. And she is also praying that you don't tell anything to Jungkook and save her from him. But she don't know that you already told everything to Jungkook, that Mrs. Jeon kicked you out. Meanwhile, Jungkook is waiting for doctors to come out and tell him what happened to you. He is crying so badly and everyone is so shocked after looking at his this side. A mafia is crying for his wife and unborn child, and this is very shocking for everyone. But family can make anyone like this because family is everything and mafia also have heart. Mafia also love their loved ones, so it's not shocking. But still people are shocked and Jungkook is waiting for Mrs. Jeon to reach here. Then he'll do justice. He didn't said anything to her on the call because first he wants to call her here and then he'll take any action against her after asking everything from you and her. Time skip. Doctors come out from the emergency ward and Jungkook immediately run towards them and ask them, Jungkook, Van, is she okay? Worried. Doctor, relax, Mr. Jeon. Your wife is out of danger, but she lost a lot of blood. But don't worry, now everything is fine and she needs rest and proper care. Jungkook, and my baby is also fine, right? He asked with teary eyes, and doctor smiled. Doctor, it's a miracle, Mr. Jeon, that they both are fine after all this. Doctor, God heard your prayers and both are fine. But I'm again saying that your wife's condition was already not good and this incident also happened. So please take care of her. Jungkook, but doctor, what exactly happened? Why she started bleeding? He asked with confused face. Doctor, because of overworking and not taking rest. Doctor, maybe she walked too much and that's why this all happened. Her feet are also bleeding. But don't worry, she'll be alright. Doctor sat and then left from there. Now Jungkook is feeling better after hearing that you are out of danger. but his blood started boiling when he heard that this all happened because you were doing overwork. Just then he saw Mrs. Sean was coming towards him and tried to hug him, but he backed off and didn't hug her, which made her shocked and sad at the same time. Mrs. Sean, what happened to Anne? Is she okay now? She asked worriedly, but Jungkook smirked after looking at her worried expressions. Jungkook, stop this drama, mom. Today you proved that you are my stepmom, and stepmom can't take mother's place. Teary eyes. To be continued. Thanks for watching.